Welcome to Sphere Finance. I am Price Time and you're watching Sphere TV. In my previous video, I talked about how DeFi auto compounders work and talked about how Dyson will introduce exotic strategies to bring maximized yield for yield farmers cross-chain. But what exactly is yield farming? Yield farming is a broad term for decentralized finance strategies that generate yield for users. Yield farming is a key component of DeFi because it can offer optimization of ROI or return on investment. In general, when a user yield farms, they deposit their crypto assets into a platform that facilitates a certain DeFi service. Fees charged by the platform for other users to use that service are then automatically paid to depositors. The amount of rewards paid must be distributed proportionally among all depositors. As the amount of service fees generated and number of depositing users will vary, the rewards are distributed to yield farmers as a variable APR, or annual percentage rate. Overall, yield farming is an easy way to generate passive yield on crypto assets and requires very little work to initiate and maintain. Since yield farming is a broad term, let's break down 5 of the major types of yield farming commonly used in DeFi to earn yield: liquidity provision, staking, voting, lending, and borrowing. Liquidity provision is one of the backbones of DeFi. In order for a decentralized exchange or DEX to facilitate trades, they need to have liquidity. In DeFi, other users, known as liquidity providers, must provide that liquidity. Liquidity typically consists of 2 tokens combined together, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and can be balanced 50-50 or weighted, for example 80-20. Small fees are charged by a DEX for every trade, which are paid to the liquidity providers. Staking is a way of putting crypto assets to work to earn yield. Staking can be liquid, where deposited assets can be unstaked at any time, or vested, where staking requires a time lock to earn a platform's yield. Users can stake native assets such as ETH or Matic to earn that blockchain's proof-of-stake rewards. Additionally, liquidity provider tokens, the tokens received as a receipt for providing liquidity, can also be staked to earn yield. Part of yield farming is also having the ability to earn bribe incentives for voting. Certain DeFi platforms allow users to stake or vest their tokens to earn yield and decentralized voting power. Voting can direct treasury funds and/or boost rewards for liquidity providers, so it is a powerful tool. Other users or other platforms can offer bribe incentives and pay voters for their votes. Therefore, bribes are another way that stakers can earn additional yield when that staked token is also a governance or voting token. Lending is a way for users to essentially function as a bank in DeFi. That is, a user can lend their cryptocurrency assets out to earn yield from interest paid by borrowers. A big difference between traditional lending borrowing and decentralized lending borrowing is that the rules are carried out by smart contracts in a trustless way. This means that a lender does not have to trust that a borrower will pay back the loan. A smart contract will ensure it. The borrower must deposit collateral that is greater in value than the amount that they are borrowing. If at any point the value of their collateral drops below a certain threshold, then the smart contract will automatically liquidate the borrower's deposit to pay back the loan, thereby protecting the lender's assets. This makes DeFi lending a very popular method of yield farming. On the other side of lending is borrowing, and believe it or not, one of the reasons users borrow crypto is to increase their yield. For example, let's say that a user has Matic that they do not want to sell because they believe in the long-term potential of Polygon, but they also want the stablecoin USDC to use in other yield farming strategies. That user could deposit their Matic as collateral and then borrow USDC assets against their own Matic. Now that user has USDC to yield farm to earn extra yield, in addition to maintaining long-term exposure to Matic. To retrieve their Matic, that user must pay back their loan plus any interest, and then they will be able to withdraw their collateral. DeFi borrowing also opens the door to allow users to leverage their positions. For example, using the borrowed USDC to buy more Matic. This, of course, does not come without risks, as is true for all yield farming strategies. As DeFi matures, the space will gradually become more secure and sustainable. However, there are inherent risks to yield farming that are important to discuss. DeFi platforms, commonly referred to as decentralized applications or dApps, run on smart contracts, as I mentioned before. A user must trust that the coding in that smart contract does not have weaknesses that could make stored assets vulnerable to hacks, exploits, or errors. A small percentage of developers may also intentionally write malicious code in order to steal users' funds. This is often referred to as a rug pull. This is why it is always important for a DeFi platform's smart contracts to be independently audited or reviewed with scrutiny. For example, the smart contracts for Sphere Finance have successfully been individually audited by 3 separate entities and by over 120 peers within the community in an effort to go above and beyond the industry-accepted security measures. When providing liquidity with volatile assets, another important risk to be aware of is impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is when a token's price change causes your share in a liquidity pool to be worth less than the value of your initial deposit. One of the goals of liquidity providers is to earn enough yield on their assets to overcome impermanent loss. Depegging can also occur. Certain tokens are made to be pegged to another asset. For example, stablecoins are meant to be pegged 1-to-1 with the value of the US dollar. But there is always a risk that this peg is broken, which can crumble confidence and result in a market-wide sell-off. Therefore, users should always be mindful of the assets they select. Finally, as DeFi matures, traditional finance will continue to create enforceable regulatory framework around crypto, which ultimately may affect a user's yield farming experience. Hopefully, this video helped you form a better understanding of the yield farming strategies available within DeFi. Shout out to Mantissa Finance's article, which was a large inspiration and resource for this video. Also, if you are interested in yield farming but don't know where to start, never fear, because with the release of Dyson just around the corner, a variety of automated and maximized yield farming strategies will become more easily accessible than ever before. Stay tuned for more information. The best place to stay up to date on announcements or contact us is through the Sphere Finance Discord. Check the description below for official links. You can also leave us a comment below and we will do our best to help. After all, this video and channel is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Thanks for watching, and always remember, that you matter for who you are. In an effort to go above and beyond the industry-accepted security measures.